Okay guys, it is 12:04 on the 23rd of May and I've got the police here with me again. About 4 of them this time. One of them looked quite senior, demanded documentation. The only documentation I had was the paperwork from the court a couple of weeks ago. One of them had a little bit of English, tried to make himself understood, but at the end when they were trying to tell me, I think he was trying to tell me that I can't be here or shouldn't be here, I don't know, but they stood around. I reiterated that it's my understanding that the land is private and that there hasn't been a complaint from the landowner and that it's my intention to stay. And right now the 4 of them, can you hear? I'm not going to film them, I don't want to antagonize anymore. But the 4 of them are still here and just hanging around and preparing to leave, I think. As ever, they told me that I was wrong, that I was a liar, that I hadn't been here for 18 months. I clarified that I hadn't had a big tent like this all that time, but that I had been here that long. Don't like being called a liar, but I have been here that long. As I mentioned earlier in a video released earlier today, that I started my YouTube channel a year ago today, and at that point I had a shelter that was 6 broom handles or mop handles pushed into the ground with a tarpaulin stretched over the top of them. And that had been here at that point, that had been here since the mid-February. That was falling apart in May. That had been in the sun for 3.5 months, however that works out. And you know, it was falling apart at that point in that video. And indeed, overnight at the end of that video, if you watch the second video, you'll see a big hole in the roof that needs repairing. So I can show that 1 year ago I had an old shelter that was falling apart and that had been here for months. I could even produce witnesses of the people who got me the tarpaulin when a previous tarpaulin fell through and burst apart. So I can show that I have in fact been here. I can almost prove 18 months, but I mean I have. I'm unclear what the guy was saying at the end. They looked a little bit stumped, a little bit lost, standing there, me standing there, and me just saying it's private land, no complaint from the owner. I don't know guys, I'm nervous as hell. I'm sweating like a sweaty thing, I don't know. And right now I'm waiting on my friend Ismo coming around with some cold beers. That was pre-planned, that was already planned. One of the cops stuck his nose in the door. He didn't walk in, but he stuck his arm in and took photos all around. And then they asked me loads of questions about my electricity and what have you. I don't know. I mean, it's rather cramped in here at the minute. I've had a few people bring me things in the last couple of weeks. Since everything outside was taken away, well, that's a month ago or more now, is it? When everything, all my outside things were stolen by the Guardia Civil, leaving me with no cooking facilities, no plates, no cutlery. They took my tea and coffee and sugar, and they took my water, some of it. They took flasks and just all sorts of... I've had people coming around with plates and knives and forks and pans. I had no pans left. If you've watched any of my cookery videos, like the first video this morning, which featured my original video, all of those things, all of those pans, the pan I cooked the big chicken stew in, and the pan that I decanted it into as my kind of eating bowl, all of that was got, the ladle, everything was gone. So I've had some wonderful people come round and bring me things, and then my mate in the other tent, who disappeared 3 weeks ago, I'm fairly sure he's taken off back to England. I'm a little, if that is the case, I'm a little disappointed that someone I thought was a friend has gone without even saying goodbye. But he left his tent and all the things in, and yesterday I emptied it and brought across some of his gear. Because if it's left there, if that isn't the case, if he hasn't gone, if it's just left there in that tent, it's going to go walkies. So the next day or two, I'm gonna demolish his tent, fold it down, and pack that away in here. So I've got all these things that have been brought to me, and things that previously might have been outside are now inside the tent, and it is just a bit. It's a bit cramped in here now, and a bit, you know, looks untidy. It's kind of semi-pseudo-organised, but in a lived-in kind of way. But the copper sticking his camera in, and I don't know if he was taking photographs or video, but it was immediately after that they started asking me questions about my electricity and stuff. So I think that they're lining that up to be a problem in the future. I don't know, guys. How do they drive past every day for 18 months and not see that I'm here? I had a shelter, then I had a tent, now I've got a larger tent. And in all that time, and all their colleagues have been, and all the ins and outs with all of that, and yet they don't know I'm here. And they come by, and this time it looks like they had a senior guy. They had a guy with scrambled egg on his epaulets, and you know, and this guy would not interact with me. The others were looking at me, talking to me. The senior guy, he walked around in circles, he walked away, he did not do any eye contact, he wanted to remain aloof and away from it all. Mind games. Mind games. But the one guy that did speak English was okay, and he was okay. He tried to be nice with Tina, which is nice because Tina's become very suspicious of them. She sees their uniforms now and she's growling and snarling and barking. Because the bastards kicked her. Twice that I know of. And probably more when I wasn't here. And then they abandoned her and left her here. They didn't even get the dog warden to take her away. Or if they did, they didn't help the dog warden. And this was the thing, I was trying to retrieve the bloody dogs when they came in all aggressive. And the first lot of cops were letting me. Second lot came storming in and must have figured I was trying to run away from the first lot. And piled in all rough. Hence the injuries that are still on my... Oh, I was going to do it the other way. The injuries that are still on my wrist, you know, a couple of weeks later. But anyway, I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm sweating like a... I haven't got a family-friendly version of that phrase. I'm sweating like a tramp sitting in a tent that's currently 27.8 degrees. But there we go, folks. Another visit. I wonder about the timing. I released my first video in 2 weeks this morning, and then they're here. That, I don't know, maybe that's just me being paranoid. My arm's shaking. Sorry about the wobbles, guys. I'm literally shaking now. I can't believe that ended with them just going away. Oh, look at the shakes. Okay, folks. From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike, out.